Mr. Steinman, the question that always arises, and like specifically with the repo rate that is now 6.75. The question remains why the Namibian dollar is pegged to the South African rand. Just briefly explain to our listeners why it is pegged and what might happen if Namibia, I don't even know, should I say unpeg to the South African rand? What will happen? What are the consequences, or what are the pros and the cons about that?
How long is your program?
Well, we can make time.
You remember that movie Sleepless in Seattle, where he asks the radio interviewer, she asked him what was so special about your wife. And then she was so special, he's got so much to say, he immediately asked her, well, how long is your program? So that's why I'm asking you.
Okay.
We are one of the top 3 diamond exporters in the world. Now, diamonds are not cheap. We know that. So it means that to deal in the diamond market, the local producers have to have access to US dollars. And if we, as a small open economy, would not go via the South African rand, we piggyback basically on the South African rand, it means that we will have to pay a risk premium. So if you look at the interest or the exchange rate this week, which has been hovering in the region of about 1649, 1650, but it went down to 1617 at one point, and I'm just waiting for it to go below 16. The moment it's 1595, I know it's time to buy, to celebrate. And you will see on the notes I've given you, I'm coming back to that exchange rate thing later. But okay, so this is the exchange rate. It is not determined by us. That very good rate of 1617 or 1620 is because of the rand. If we would have to deal in the international currency market based only on our own money, it's called M2, money in circulation, or cash and near cash instruments, I can guarantee you we would have paid a 1.5 percentage point premium. So our US dollars that we have to buy would be more expensive. So instead of giving $16.17, or let's make it $16.20, Namibia dollars, for every $1 US, I can assure you we would have paid $17.50, even $18. And that is called a premium. It's a risk premium, because whoever is dealing in US dollars out there in the ether, in the international market, they do not have the same confidence that we have in the Bank of Namibia to be able to redeem any Namibia dollar holdings. But because a Namibia dollar holding is basically a ZAR holding, there's no risk in the market. So there's no risk premium. So the exchange rate in South Africa is the exchange rate in Namibia. Put it more practical, the exchange rate in Pretoria is the exchange rate in Windhoek. So we have that advantage. And it is very important for our diamond producers. They cannot go and do deals in Namibia dollars. It will dilute their margins, and that is just fancy jargon for making less profit. But it's important, because diamonds are our biggest earner of foreign currency, and diamonds is the biggest contributor from the mining sector to the government, to the revenue of the government. So you cannot underestimate the importance of that, and it would have been measurably less. We would have been penalized by trying to deal in Namibia dollar in the international market. Very interesting. About 20 years ago, I visited the Chicago Board of Trade, which is the biggest international trading platform at that time, and this was in the early 2000s, at that time, at least about 3 times the size of the New York Stock Exchange combined, which is also a fact that few people realize. You know, we just see Dow Jones and S&P, and we think that is the beginning and the end of international markets. The Chicago Board of Trade is arguably the most important international market in the world, and substantially bigger than the trading platforms in New York, despite the overwhelming figures that we always see coming from New York. And what was very interesting, there on that board of currencies that they trade in, there was the Russian ruble and the Indian rupee, and I'm talking now in addition to all the euro and the dollar and the Australian dollar. But the currencies that you wouldn't expect there, the ruble, the rupee, the Brazilian real was in there, the Mexican peso was on there, and lo and behold, the South African rand. So the rand is trading worldwide on the same level as all the big currencies. That is why the interest rate rand-wise is favorable. And that is why it's important for us to stay pegged to the rand.
Well, there you have your answer. Let's quickly go for another short break.